What's the worst injury you've had?
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what he means.
Well, when I was a kid, it's about 4 or 5, I climbed up on a climbing frame and I fell off and landed on my head and broke my head open. And my mum took me to hospital and I screamed and screamed, so I wouldn't allow them to have stitches, so I just bled. And then 2 weeks later, or a month later, I got better and I've been home for a while. And we went to playground and I climbed on a climbing frame and fell off and broke my head open. I tend to do everything twice, then I learn. I never learn first time. So that was kind of bad. I also made a hole in my leg by trying to ollie a wall, and I hit the edge of the wall. And I was like, oh, that hurt. And rubbed it and carried on skating for a few minutes and looked down and my whole shoe was red from blood. And I had a hole in my leg about that big where I'd split the skin in my shin. And you could see the bone and everything. It was really gross and it just bled and bled and bled. It didn't really hurt as much as you'd think. But it was horrible. I could see inside my leg.
Ew. Ruin John wants to know, when I started listening to rave music, the whole scene had much more of a movement/lifestyle feel to it, with magazines such as Eternity being quite political. This, I feel, is lost to the current hardcore scene. What are your views on this? Do you think it has a place in the scene? Do you think general politics has a place in hardcore, like it does in the acid techno scene, for example? And would you ever use a political message/sample in one of your tunes?
Let's answer the first bit last. The last bit first. I've just done a couple of tracks on my new album which have got political messages in. I think politics affects everything, and if you're a true artist, that will come out in your work, regardless of whether you want it to or not. For me, I'm so upset by a lot of the social injustice and the lies we've been fed that I couldn't help but write some political stuff, because I was so angry about it. I think there is a place for it in the music, but it has to be remembered that hardcore and, you know, a lot of this music is quite hedonistic in that it's, I'm not even going to look at the troubles, I'm just going to have a good time. And there's definitely a place for that. But I can only answer for me personally. For me, I want to make music that's relevant. So some of it is just hedonistic and just good for a laugh and for dancing, and some of it has got a more serious point. But in general, I think it's a shame that the magazines and stuff have stopped, but I also think the general, I hesitate to say intelligence, but the whole scene has got kind of stupider. Like, it's no longer innovating, it's now just repeating. You know, you go to a rave, you see the same backdrops and the same man on stilts and person dressed as robot and jugglers and dancers wearing fluffy boots. It's been kind of stagnating for a while. And until the scene progresses and gets new ideas and starts doing new things, there's really nothing politically to say that hasn't been said before. It's all a bit sort of, it's like it's on pause. It went on pause at about the year 2001 and that was that. Seems to me. So yeah, there's a place for it, but perhaps the scene isn't ready for it at the moment.
Who would you say is your favorite author/book?
I like Stephen King a lot. I think he's written some brilliant books, in which case I would say It. If I was going to choose Stephen King, his book It is my favourite. Thomas Coven, that whole series by whatchamacallit, Stephen Donaldson. Oh, Stephen Donaldson's The Gap series. That is fucking brilliant. That would be the book I recommend to anyone. Stephen Donaldson, The Gap series, yeah. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Do you think alternative sounds within hardcore, like breakbeat, but not exclusively, could possibly have more of a chance of survival if they look to appeal to people outside of the traditional hardcore scene?
Perhaps, but I think it's very hard to make a tune that directly appeals to a specific group of people. Like, you can do it generally, like you can say, okay, I'm going to make a goth tune, or I'm going to make a rock tune, or I'm going to make a gabba tune. But it's hard to say, make a gabba tune that's going to appeal to people that are into ambient, or a breakbeat tune that's going to appeal to kick drum people, because it's very hard. Like, the more you sway towards one style, the more you lose the other. So I think it happens, but I don't think you can do it deliberately. I think it either happens of its own accord by something you've made, or it's just luck, you know.
Ross Fader asks, favorite place in the world to DJ at or visit?
But the favourite place to play would have to be Bangface. Bangface. Bang, 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 Bangface. Definitely. That party is fucking brilliant. So yeah, Bangface, hands down. That's in London as well. But yeah, Bangface definitely. If you haven't been to a Bangface, then you have to go. If you're in Australia watching this and you're thinking, oh, I can't go there, mate, it's too far away, then I would say get on a plane and go to Bangface. Brilliant party, you won't regret it.
Freakio Nut Butter says...
That classic name, Freakio
Yes.
Nut Butter.
He says, I sometimes compare you to a U.S. artist named Kid 606 on Tiger Beat 6 Records. Not based on the similarity of genres you create, but based on the fact that you both have the ability to create a vast variety of dance music. Have you ever listened to Kid 606's work or labels, and if so, what do you think of it?
Unfortunately, no. And I deliberately didn't read all these questions beforehand because I thought I'd then give really false answers. So I will have to have a listen to him and then let you know on the forum because I haven't heard him. Sorry.
Impish asks, with the Raver Baby sound overpowering the mainstream hardcore scene, what do you reckon will be the next evolution in hardcore?
I think the opposite. I think the way music works is like a pendulum. So once it gets to totally cheesy, it'll swing all the way back to being dark. Because where else can it go? Which will be grim for you, old pal, won't it? Because you always send me some very happy CDs, which I like a great deal. But if it all goes dark, what will happen to you? Poor Impish. Your manga characters on the front of the CD will have to be all like, ooh, instead of woo. So yeah, that's what I think will happen. I think it will get darker or harder or, just rougher somehow. I think it has to. It can't get any softer, really, can it?
I don't know.
I probably can. I'm sure I've made some cheese-tastic pieces that could be even cheesier than the modern hardcore, but I don't know.
Okay, he also wants to know, file sharing, good or bad for hardcore, and reasons.
Bad for the whole music industry, and everyone's going to do it anyway, so get over it, people. It's bad for the whole music industry because from an artist perspective, for me, for example, I love making a record, I love doing the sleeve, I love doing the whole project. Making an MP3 is just boring. MP3s don't sell. People will tell you lies about MP3s and how great they're doing with them. That's what they'll do. But take it from me, you put out a record, you sell quite a lot. You put out an MP3. And true, there's no expenses in an MP3, but you don't actually have anything tangible. It's just a little blob on your computer. So, yeah, I think file sharing is it's already destroying the music industry. Of course, the upside will be that music will become a free thing and everybody will just pass it around and, that's kind of good. It levels the playing field because you can no longer win by, who's got the most money. As you can see from the charts now, people like Arctic Monkeys, Gnarls Barkley, these are acts that come through without any promotion and without any,
a lot of indie.
It doesn't matter how much money Sony throw behind a band, they can't beat Arctic Monkeys or Gnarls Barkley. They come out of nowhere and just like boom. So that's really good. That's a good thing. But once you've come out of nowhere and you've arrived, there really isn't many sales there. So we shall see. No one knows, not even me.
And back to the cheese. Impish wants to know, will you be making some more cheese for the cheese lovers?
Yes, I think made a couple of cheesy tracks on my album. But I really don't think about it. I think most of my music is happy without being cheesy. When I don't go too far up my own bum and start making really technical stuff that no one likes except me. But yeah, I don't have any rules. Whatever comes out is just what comes out. So yeah, I'm up for making some cheese. No worries. Plus I'm working with Tony TC a lot and he loves cheesy music.
He does.
So, yeah, cheese-tastic that is.